this video, I would like to give you a few basic informations about how to play the Bansuri, a beautiful flute made of bamboo, which has a long tradition in Indian classical music. And if you like calm and meditative music, you have probably heard this flute in some music pieces. So yeah, it has a very warm, soft and mellow sound. It's such a beautiful flute, and it's often called meditation flute. So the first question for you may be where to get a good flute and how to be sure that the flute is relatively well tuned. My experience is that it's not clever to buy the cheapest model. There are a lot of cheap offers on Amazon and Co, but not all of them are of high quality. So if you're interested in buying a good flute, have a look at the video description. There I share my experiences with some good flute manufacturers. Please note that this has nothing to do with advertisement. It's just my honest opinion, and I hope it will help you in choosing the right flute. The second question you may ask yourself is, what size should the flute be? If you're a total beginner, I would not recommend one of the big bass flutes like the low E or low D flute. They are much more difficult to play because the holes are very far away from each other, so that you should either have relatively big hands or you need a lot of practice. If you have very small hands, maybe a short flute like the high E flute is good for you, but my recommendation is the middle way. For example, an A flute or a G flute. They have a beautiful full sound and are not too big for beginners. Now the next step is getting a sound out of this beautiful instrument. This is the part that is most difficult to explain, but I give my best. If you have ever played a classical Western flute, you may succeed within minutes because you are familiar with the blowing technique. If not, you will succeed too, I promise. But maybe you have to try a little bit longer. Yeah. What I would not do is trying to get a tone out of the flute by covering all holes from the beginning. That just makes it unnecessarily difficult. Instead of that, just begin by covering not a single hole. Just hold the flute to your mouth and try. In my opinion, it works best if you form your lips like imagine a little child sitting in front of you, which has hurt his finger, and to comfort it, you gently blow on the wound like this. By doing this, hold the flute to your mouth so that most of the airflow passes over it, not the whole airflow, but most of it. Part of the airflow should end up in the flute. Yeah, just keep on trying, play around a little bit, use your ears carefully to discover how the sound arises and how the sound changes while moving the flute. If you are a total newbie, it may take a few days to get a good sound. Don't worry if it's not working from the beginning. That's totally normal, and just try again and again. Have fun while exploring this beautiful instrument. And I guarantee you, you will succeed. If you are able to make a relatively clear and stable sound, you can go to the next step, the finger position. In the end, it should look like this. So here's a huge difference between the way you play Western flutes and the Indian Bansuri. You do not cover the holes with this part of your finger, but with this. By doing this, you are able to cover the holes despite the massive space between them. And yeah, if you would try it with your fingertips, you would simply it would simply not be possible. And once you have got used to this technique, it's the best ever. It's a very relaxing and flexible way to cover the holes, and to be flexible is very important when you want to begin with a typical Indian ornamentation. But that should not be the topic now. At first, you have enough to do with by learning to cover the holes correctly, I guess. So we learned how to make a sound with the flute. Now we try to make a sound by covering the first 3 holes. Try around, and if it works, then lift a finger, put it down again, and so on. If this goes well, take the next finger to produce a lower sound, a lower note, then the next, and probably the most difficult, the last. Don't worry, this takes much time and effort. Just keep on going and you will get better and better. Now I would like to give a few tips for holding the flute. You have this hand here, which is the left, unless you are left-handed. And while these 3 fingers are covering the holes, the thumb supports the flute from below. The right hand lies here, and these 3 fingers are covering the holes, while again the thumb supports the flute from below. And now when I start with the lowest note and go up the scale, I do it like this. When the middle finger is lifted, the ring finger goes down again and rests directly next to the lower hole. By holding the flute like this, you can make sure that you don't drop the flute. Last but not least, a few words about the second octave. I don't want to go too much into the subject here, because that's more a topic for a separate video, but I would like to say a few words about how it is done in principle. To get to the second octave, you have to strengthen the airflow like this. Remember comforting the little kids. To play the higher notes, you have to make the mouth opening a little bit smaller, and what also helps is to push the lower lip out a little bit so that the airflow concentrates more. And you can also turn the flute a little bit. Just try, play around. It may seem not easy, but you, in the end, you will make it. I am sure about that. So this was a lot of information. I hope it was helpful. I would love to read from your experiences in Bansuri playing. So if you like, write me a comment, and thank you for watching. Have a good time, stay safe and happy. Bye.